Welcome to the AMSCO Evolution Steam Sterilizer in-service training program. STERIS has developed this program to help you learn how to properly operate and maintain your AMSCO Evolution Steam Sterilizer. This program is presented in 3 segments. Segment 1 briefly explains the basic information and required knowledge that is essential to sterile processing. Central Service Technicians must understand the importance of properly preparing medical devices for steam sterilization and storage. Segment 2 includes an overview of sterilizer models and features and shows how to operate the sterilizer. And Segment 3 reviews routine care and maintenance. This presentation is not intended to be all-inclusive of everything you need to know or do with respect to the use and care of this steam sterilizer. Before viewing this training program, you must read the Evolution Sterilizer Operator Manual. If you have not read this manual, ask your supervisor for it. If you are unclear about anything contained in the manual or this video program, contact STERIS Corporation for clarification. Now that you have read the Operator Manual, you may start the in-service training. Steam sterilization is the most cost-effective and dependable sterilization method available for surgical instrumentation. Steam heats and penetrates rapidly, requires brief exposure time, is non-toxic, and leaves no residues. Because of the high temperatures generated during this process, surgical instruments that are heat and moisture sensitive cannot be sterilized with steam. Please refer to all manufacturer recommendations on sterilization before processing surgical instrumentation. Steam sterilization relies on steam reaching all instrument surfaces. Therefore, proper cleaning, packaging, and loading of the instruments are vital to achieve optimal sterilization results. The sterilization process includes these general steps: manually or mechanically clean instruments to remove visible soils, dry instruments thoroughly, organize instrument trays, include pack control sterility assurance monitoring chemical indicator, package instruments and instrument sets, label and document packages, include load control sterility assurance monitoring indicator, properly load the sterilizer. Be sure to understand and follow your department's policies and procedures regarding the processes involved with these steps. Safety, yours and the patient's, is an important part of the sterilization process. The Evolution series sterilizers include a number of important safety features. Be sure to read all of the safety warnings and cautions that are detailed in the Safety Precautions, Sterilization Operation, and Routine Maintenance sections of your Evolution Sterilizer Operator Manual. For additional information on sterilization standards and practices, STERIS Corporation recommends you review the guidelines published by industry associations such as AAMI, AORN, and ISHM. Following these guidelines for cleaning, packaging, and loading instruments is the first vital step for effective steam sterilization. Let's review what we've learned in this segment. When used as a sterilant, steam sterilization is non-toxic and does not leave a residue. Surgical instruments must be properly cleaned, packaged, and loaded to achieve optimal sterilization. Surgical instruments that are heat and moisture sensitive cannot be sterilized with steam. Always wear your personal protective equipment. Before you begin operating your AMSCO Evolution Steam Sterilizer, it's important to become familiar with the location and function of the major components and controls for your model, and the types of cycles your sterilizer is configured to run. Each unit is pre-programmed with 3 standard sterilizer cycle types: pre-vacuum, gravity, and liquid cycles. An optional steam, flush, pressure pulse, or SFPP cycle is also available. These cycle types are described in more detail in Section 6 of your Evolution Sterilizer Operator Manual. The Evolution Steam Sterilizer is available in 6 models, featuring a round or elliptical chamber, manual or automatic doors, and an easy-to-use touchscreen control panel. The front side on all models houses the chamber door, control panel, pressure gauges, printer, and sterilizer power key. Models with automatic power doors also have door open and close push buttons and an emergency stop button. The control power switch shuts off power to the sterilizer control. Under normal operation, this switch is left in the on position at all times. The piping skid is located in the sterilizer surface area to the left or right of the chamber. You'll also find the steam, water, and air supply valves located within the service area or behind the side access panel if the unit is cabinet enclosed. Each of these valves should be in the open position before you operate the sterilizer. Evolution's unique elliptical and round chambers promote even pressure and heat distribution within the chamber. The 26-inch wide chamber facilitates easy loading, accommodates wide instrument sets, processes each load with minimal steam consumption. The manual hinged door model locks and unlocks with a simple 30-degree motion that requires minimal effort. To unlock the door, move the door lock lever to the right. To lock the door, close it and move the door lock lever to the left. The automated horizontal door opens by moving right to left and closes by moving left to right. The vertical door lowers to open and raises to close. Both horizontal and vertical doors feature a quiet motor-driven cable and pulley mechanism. For double-door units, each door is independently operated by push buttons at the end where the door is located. Whether the door is manual or automated, be sure to keep the chamber door closed when the sterilizer is not in use. This conserves utilities and helps to optimize sterilizer operation. Each Evolution model has its own maximum quantity of wrapped instrument trays that it can process at one time. The 26-inch by 37.5-inch models feature an elliptical chamber and a manual hinged or automated horizontal door. The HC900 can process up to 12 25-pound wrapped instrument trays. The HC1200 can process up to 16 trays. And the HC1500 is designed to hold up to 20 trays. The 26-inch by 26-inch models feature a round chamber and automated vertical door. The HC600 holds up to 9 25-pound wrapped instrument trays. The HC800 holds up to 12 wrapped instrument trays. And the HC1000 holds up to 15 wrapped instrument trays. All Evolution steam sterilizer models feature STERIS's latest control technology. One-touch graphics and a logical menu system make it easy to operate your sterilizer. The sterilizer control panel uses symbols to keep operations simple. A complete list of control panel buttons and their functions can be found in Section 2 of your Evolution Sterilizer Operator Manual. Control panels and displays are multilingual. On-screen text defaults to English but can be set to other languages. Before processing a new load, you'll need to perform a few preliminary tests. First, check that the drain strainer inside the chamber is clean and in place. Caution should be taken as the door and chamber walls may be hot. Also, make sure that the chamber interior is clean and free of debris. Then close the chamber door. Next, check to see if there is enough paper in the printer for cycle documentation. Paper replacement will be covered in a later section of the video. If it's the first cycle of the day and pre-vacuum cycles are being used, you'll also need to run a DART or Bowie Dick test before processing a load. We'll review this procedure in the next segment. Use the loading car and transfer carriage to place the load to be processed into the sterilizer. Each loading car comes standard with either 1 or 2 adjustable stainless steel shelves and 1 fixed shelf. An additional optional shelf may be used to maximize throughput. Shelf height can be adjusted without tools. The 26-inch by 26-inch sterilizer loading cars feature 2 or 3 shelves, 1 or 2 height-adjustable removable upper shelves, and 1 fixed-height lower shelf. The 26-inch by 37.5-inch sterilizer loading cars feature up to 4 shelves, 2 or 3 height-adjustable removable upper shelves, and then 1 fixed-height lower shelf. To load the chamber, first open the sterilizer door. Maintain a line of sight with the chamber opening and roll the transfer carriage forward until the latches connect with the dock mounted to the floor. It is not necessary to look down at the dock. The dock guides the transfer carriage into proper alignment with the sterilizer and secures the transfer carriage to the chamber. Continue to press forward on the transfer carriage handle, fully inserting the loading car into the chamber. With the loading car fully inserted, turn the hand wheel counterclockwise until it stops, completely lowering the transfer carriage support arms and disengaging the loading car from the transfer carriage. Pull the transfer carriage away from the sterilizer chamber. The loading car will remain in the chamber during the cycle. Sterility assurance and monitoring is a key part of the sterility process. For pack and load control, STERIS recommends you insert a Verify Success chemical indicator inside every pack and a Verify Success challenge pack with every load. Place the challenge pack on the bottom shelf of the loading car, directly over the drain, and then close the chamber door. A proximity switch is used to determine if the door is closed. An additional seal pressure switch prevents inadvertent cycle initiation if the door is not sealed. As long as the seal is intact and energized, and there is more than 2 psi pressure in the chamber, the door cannot be opened. Sterilizers with automated doors will stop automatically if obstructed. If this happens, remove the obstruction, then close the door. If you notice the obstruction before the door stops, you can press the emergency stop button to shut off all outputs on the sterilizer. Then reset the switch with the key. Now you're ready to run a cycle. If the sterilizer is in standby mode, press anywhere on the standby screen to bring up the control display. Cycles are started from the cycle selection screen. The sterilizer has 12 pre-programmed cycles. 4 cycles are available in the initial cycle selection screen. To access additional cycles, including test cycles such as the Bowie Dick and vacuum leak tests, press the arrow in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. The Prevac and Gravity cycles are used for processing double-wrapped instrument trays, basin sets, and fabric packs. Which cycle you choose depends upon the instrument manufacturer's recommendations. Some Evolution steam sterilizers are equipped with an optional SFPP cycle that conditions the load with above atmospheric pressure steam pulses. During the SFPP cycle, the conditioning phase is always at pressures above atmospheric, and air cannot be drawn back into the chamber during the conditioning phase of the cycle, even if there are leaks in the plumbing or gasket. For processing purposes, the SFPP and Prevac cycles are considered equivalent dynamic air removal cycles. If your sterilizer has the SFPP cycle and you use it instead of the Prevac cycle, you will not need to run a Bowie Dick or DART test. If Prevac cycles are run on an SFPP sterilizer, you should perform a Bowie Dick test. The liquid cycle may be used to sterilize fluids that are not intended for patient contact. Up to 3 containers, each holding 1,000 milliliters of liquid per container, may be sterilized. To initiate a cycle, press the desired cycle button. A steam-activated door seal secures the door. The sterilizer automatically progresses through the cycle. A time-remaining countdown is visible from across the room. The large screen displays critical information such as cycle status. You can get more detailed cycle information at any time by pressing the status button on the main screen of the control panel. You can also view a graphical representation of the cycle by pressing the button in the upper right-hand corner. Press the Exit Screen button to return to the main cycle screen. The control panel displays a different background color for each phase in the cycle. Green during preconditioning, blue during sterilization, and violet during the exhaust and dry phase. At the beginning of the cycle, the chamber is purged with steam and the load is conditioned. When the chamber reaches sterilization temperature, the sterilization phase begins. Once the sterilization phase is completed, an exhaust and dry phase begins. The control panel displays the dry time remaining in the cycle. When the cycle ends, the chamber is returned to atmospheric pressure, and a vacuum is drawn on the seal, retracting it from the inner surface of the door. Then you will hear the Cycle Complete tone. The display screen indicates that the cycle is complete and instructs you to open the door and unload the chamber. The sterilizer documents all phases as they occur throughout the cycle on the printout, including all cycle parameters. To print a duplicate printout of the cycle, press the Options button. Then press the Duplicate Print button. If you discover that you've selected the wrong cycle, or if the sterilizer begins to function incorrectly, you can end the cycle immediately by pressing the Abort button. A prompt screen will ask for confirmation. Press No to cancel the abort and return to the cycle. Press Yes to initiate the abort sequence. You'll hear a Cycle Abort tone. And the sterilizer will exhaust the chamber of the steam, returning it to atmospheric pressure. Press the Silence Alarm button to turn off the alarm. Press the Status touchpad to show an abort status screen. Once the vapor has been removed, the control panel displays an Abort Complete message. Open the door and safely unload the chamber. The loading car and transfer carriage were designed so that there is no need for the operator to come into contact with the hot loading car when unloading the sterilizer. However, because the sterilizer, shelves, and loading car will be hot after each cycle, you should always wear personal protective equipment when removing a processed load. Move the transfer carriage forward until it engages with the dock. Push the transfer carriage fully into the chamber. Turn the hand crank clockwise until it stops and the loading car is fully lifted from the supports in the chamber. Pull the loading car and transfer carriage away from the chamber. When fully withdrawn from the chamber, the transfer carriage will disengage from the dock. Close the chamber door. Upon completion of the cycle, remove the challenge pack. Exercise caution as the challenge pack contents may be hot. Open the pack and remove the indicator sheet. Interpret the results using your Verify Success wall chart. Transfer the load from the sterilizer area according to your department's procedures. If desired, the transfer carriage may be parked in place by locking the rear casters. To prevent condensation from forming on the instruments, keep the load away from air conditioning and cold air vents. If you experience a power outage, you can manually exhaust the chamber and remove the load if necessary. However, you should only perform this procedure if there is an immediate need for those instruments. Before you start, make sure you have a 1/8 inch flat screwdriver handy. You'll also need access to the air manifold in the sterilizer's service area. First, check the chamber and jacket gauges to see if the chamber is pressurized or holding a vacuum. If the chamber is pressurized, use the screwdriver head to push in the V3 valve screw on the air manifold and turn it counterclockwise. This opens the valve and releases the pressure. If the chamber has a vacuum, use the screwdriver to push in and turn the V1 valve screw head counterclockwise to open the valve and relieve the vacuum. To avoid damaging your sterilizer, never open the V1 valve if the chamber is pressurized. Once the appropriate valve has been opened, the air inside the chamber returns to atmospheric level. This may take up to a half an hour. During this time, you'll need to watch the gauge. When the pressure reaches 5-pound force per square inch or the vacuum reaches 5 inches of mercury, open the V37 valve on single-door sterilizers or the V38 valve on double-door sterilizers. When the chamber and seal pressure reach 0, you'll need to manually open the door to release any remaining vapor and heat. For vertical sliding door models, press the door inward and down. For horizontal sliding door models, press the door inward and to the left. And for hinged door models, unlock the door as usual. Next, set screws on manifold back 1/4 turn after emergency exhaust. Finally, after all of the vapor and heat has escaped from the chamber, carefully remove the loading cart from the chamber. Make sure you're wearing your personal protective equipment. Let's review now what we've learned in this segment. The easy-to-use control panel lets you initiate, monitor, and document each cycle. You should always use the loading car and transfer carriage to load and unload instrument trays and other devices or equipment. Make sure you follow proper sterility assurance procedures. The sterilizer can be exhausted manually during a power outage. Always wear the appropriate personal protective equipment when loading and unloading the racks. As mentioned earlier, this sterilizer comes with a set of pre-programmed cycles that comply with all relevant healthcare standards. However, cycle temperatures, sterilization times, and dry times can be changed to meet specific instrument manufacturer reprocessing instructions. You can also choose which cycles are displayed on the main control panel display and change the sterilizer settings. Sterilize time can be adjusted upward to a maximum of 99 minutes and 59 seconds. But neither time nor temperature can be adjusted below the minimum values recommended by healthcare standards. If cycle parameters, sterilize time, dry time, temperature, other than the factory set values are required, it is the responsibility of the healthcare facility to consult and follow the device manufacturer's written instructions for processing. To adjust the sterilizer's operation, press the Options button. The Set Time and Date, Change Cycle Values, Machine Setup, and Duplicate Print buttons are displayed. To change cycle values, press the Change Cycle Values button. Then press the cycle button number that you want to change. Choose the cycle type. Then choose the cycle parameter you want to change. For example, to change the sterilized temp value for a pre-vac cycle, enter the desired temperature into the keypad, either 250 degrees Fahrenheit or ranging from 270 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. If you make a mistake, use the backspace button on the keypad to erase what you've entered. Press the OK button to accept the new value, or press the Exit Screen button to keep the factory set cycle value and return to the Change Cycle screen. To adjust the sterilized time for a 270 degree Fahrenheit pre-vac or SFPP cycle, enter the new value ranging from 4 minutes to 99 minutes and 59 seconds. A 275 degree Fahrenheit pre-vac or SFPP is adjustable from 3 minutes to 99 minutes and 59 seconds. To change the dry time, enter the new value using the same range of 1 minute to 99 minutes and 59 seconds. Press the Exit Screen button to go back to the Options screen. If you experience a power failure, you won't have to reprogram cycles. The sterilizer control stores all of your preferences and customized cycles. You can also change other machine setup options such as date and time. From the Options screen, press the Set Date and Time button. From this screen, you can set the date and time and how they appear on screen. The time may be set to the default 12-hour AM/PM format or the 24-hour military format. The current format is displayed at the top of the Time Format button. To change it, press the button to toggle to the other format. To change the time, press the Set Time button and use the keypad to enter the new time. Hours first, then minutes, then seconds. If you make a mistake, press the backspace button to clear the entry. Once you've input the correct time, press OK. Press Set to set the new time, and then press the Exit Screen button to go back to the Change Time and Date screen. The date can be displayed in one of 3 formats: day, month, year, month, day, year, or year, month, day. Again, the Date Format button displays the current format. Press this button to toggle through the options until the preferred format is displayed. Finally, to change the date, press Set Date and use the keypad to enter a year value. Press OK to accept the change. Press Set to set the new year. And then press the Exit Screen button to go back to the Change Time and Date screen. Repeat these steps to change the day and month. Once you have made all of your changes, press the Exit Screen button to go back to the Options screen. You can also use the Auto Utility controls to program the sterilizer to automatically shut off its steam and water at the end of the day to conserve utilities. Shutdown and power up times can be programmed for any time of the day, on weekdays or the weekend. To set up this function, press the Machine Setup button on the Options screen. Press the Utility Control button. Select Manual or Automatic. If Automatic is selected, you can program the restart and shutdown times for each day of the week. If your sterilizer is equipped with an integral electric steam generator, the sterilizer can be set to perform a daily generator flush. Performing a generator flush daily removes scale and buildup from the generator and prolongs the life of the system. The generator must cool to below 140 degrees Fahrenheit before an automated flush can occur. Therefore, the automated generator flush only occurs following an automatic utility shutoff. We recommend that you program the automatic utilities control to turn off the sterilizer utilities daily for at least 6 to 8 hours for an automatic generator flush to occur. Navigate to the Utilities Control screen from the Machine Setup screen. If the generator flush says Yes, then your sterilizer is set to perform the flush. If the button says No, press it until it says Yes. Press Exit to return to the Machine Setup screen. The flush has a duration of 3 minutes. If the generator has not cooled sufficiently before the automatic utility restart begins, the flush will not occur. Let's review what we've learned in this segment. Most cycle values and machine settings can be changed to meet your department's procedures and preferences. To keep your Evolution Steam Sterilizer performing properly, it's extremely important to clean and maintain it regularly. This segment will show you how to perform routine maintenance activities. A complete maintenance schedule can be found in Section 8 of your Evolution Operator Manual. Where indicated, some maintenance activities should be performed by a qualified service technician. Remember to let the sterilizer cool down before you perform any maintenance. For sterilizer monitoring, you'll run a Bowie-Dick or DART test and a vacuum leak test. The Bowie-Dick test indicates if air has been effectively removed from the chamber and challenge pack. The test should be run daily before processing any loads using a pre-vacuum cycle. To ensure valid test results, always run a warm-up cycle before performing a Bowie-Dick test to allow the machine to achieve proper operating temperature. It's important to note that the Bowie-Dick test is not a test for adequate sterilization. All test cycle values are pre-programmed and cannot be adjusted. To initiate a warm-up cycle, press the right arrow on the cycle screen until the test cycle screen appears. Press the warm-up cycle button. Once the warm-up cycle is finished, place a DART test or properly prepared Bowie-Dick test pack or commercially available test pack on the lowest rack of the sterilizer loading cart. Make sure the test pack is positioned above the chamber drain. Press the DART test button to begin the cycle. The sterilizer temperature will reach 270 degrees Fahrenheit. After 3.5 minutes of sterilized time and 1 minute of dry time, the test cycle is complete. At the conclusion of the cycle, put on your personal protective equipment, open the chamber door, and carefully remove and open the DART test or Bowie-Dick test pack. Examine the test sheet indicator for complete and uniform color change. Compare the results to your wall chart, which will help you interpret the test properly. The entire cycle is also documented on the test cycle printout. Report result failures to your supervisor. Do not run the sterilizer with pre-vacuum cycles until approved by your supervisor. Gravity or SFPP cycles may still be used in the event of a Bowie-Dick test failure. The vacuum leak test should be performed at least once a week. It automatically checks for leaks in the piping and door seal. To ensure valid test results, always run a warm-up cycle before performing this test. When the warm-up cycle is finished, initiate the vacuum leak test. From the Test Cycles menu, press the Leak Test button. The sterilizer chamber must be empty while running the test cycle. Again, the vacuum leak test cycle values are pre-programmed and cannot be adjusted. The entire vacuum leak test cycle is also documented on the printout and includes a leak rate value. A leak rate of less than 1 millimeter of mercury per minute is considered acceptable. Leaks greater than this need to be addressed by service or maintenance personnel who can monitor the air tightness of the system and make repairs or adjustments as needed. Only SFPP and gravity cycles should be run if the leak rate is greater than 1 millimeter of mercury. It's important to note that the vacuum leak test is not a suitable substitute for a DART or Bowie-Dick test. In addition to testing, there are a few other routine activities that should be done daily or weekly. At least once a day, the chamber drain strainer must be cleaned, preferably in the morning before running the first cycle. Exercise caution as the sterilizer may be hot. Use appropriate personal protective equipment. First, remove the drain strainer from the drain in the bottom of the chamber, as well as any obvious debris in the strainer. If necessary, clear the screen in the strainer using a brush, wire, or a similar tool. Next, reverse flush the strainer under running water, then replace the strainer in the chamber drain. Once a week, or whenever the drain line becomes clogged, you'll need to flush the chamber drain. First, turn off the steam supply valve. Wait until the jacket pressure is 0 and the chamber has cooled to room temperature. Remove the chamber drain strainer and clear the strainer as usual. Pour a solution of 1 1/4 cup of Liquid Jet 2 instrument detergent and 1 pint of hot water into the drain. If this detergent isn't available, you can use a hot solution of 1 tablespoon of trisodium phosphate to 1 pint of hot water. The solution may puddle in the bottom of the chamber. This is normal and should drain completely within a few minutes. Replace the strainer in the chamber drain. It's important to clean the chamber interior whenever spills or other soiling have occurred. The overall frequency of chamber interior cleaning will depend on the number of cycles run, local water and steam quality, and types of loads processed. The chamber interior should be cleaned as frequently as necessary to maintain its original appearance. Follow the instructions in Section 8 of your Evolution Sterilizer Operator Manual. When you see a colored stripe on one or both edges of the printer paper, it's time to install a new roll. Press the 9-dot grid located on the top of the printer's outer door to release and open it. Remove the take-up spool by inserting your fingers into the cavity and lifting slightly to pull the spool out. Remove the paper from the spindle. Open the inner printer door and remove the other half of the paper roll. Tear the paper between the take-up spool and the printer. Gently pull out any remaining paper from the printer roller mechanism. Next, insert the paper roll, with the paper coming under the roll towards you. Insert the paper's end into the printer roller mechanism, just behind the ink cartridge. Press and hold the paper feed button on the printer until the paper advances through the printer mechanism and ink cartridge, exiting through the front. Continue pressing the paper feed button until about 18 inches of paper hangs out of the printer. Then insert the paper's end into the take-up spool slot. Coil the paper around the take-up spool until it's secure. Reinstall the take-up spool, manually roll up any slack paper, and close the printer door. When the lettering on the printouts becomes faded, it's time to change the ink cartridge. First, open the outer printer door. Remove the take-up spool. Press on the right end of the ink cartridge until the left end of the cartridge pops out. Slip the cartridge off the end of the paper. Slip the new cartridge over the paper in the same way as before, making sure the paper slides between the ink cartridge and the ink ribbon. Install the left end of the cartridge first, then snap the right end into place. Finally, tighten the ribbon by rotating the wheel on the left side of the cartridge approximately 1/4 of a turn. In addition to routine maintenance, regularly scheduled preventive maintenance is essential for ensuring peak performance and avoiding unscheduled downtime. Certain preventative maintenance activities must be done by a STERIS service technician or a STERIS-trained service technician in your facility. Refer to Table 8-1 in the Routine Maintenance section of the Evolution Sterilizer Operator Manual for a complete list of maintenance activities. To schedule a maintenance appointment with a STERIS service technician, call 800-333-8828. As the pace of the healthcare environment increases, so do the demands on your SPD. Our professional field service technicians are available 24/7 to resolve any maintenance issues that may occur. STERIS also offers a variety of on-site preventive maintenance programs to choose from. These programs are designed to help ensure that your equipment will operate according to factory specifications and to protect your capital investment. Ask your STERIS representative for details on these valuable programs. Evolution Steam Sterilizers are equipped with remote monitoring capability. This service allows you to be connected to the STERIS ProConnect online center, which continually monitors your sterilizer to improve troubleshooting and technical support, and provides proactive repairs when necessary. Let's review what we've learned in this segment. You'll need to run a Bowie-Dick or DART test daily and a vacuum test weekly. Replenish your printer paper and printer ink as needed. Performing routine maintenance keeps your Evolution Steam Sterilizer operating properly. Some maintenance activities must be performed by a qualified technician. STERIS service technicians are available 24/7. STERIS's valuable preventive maintenance programs and remote monitoring service help you save time and money. This concludes the training program for the AMSCO Evolution Steam Sterilizer. For more information about the presentation you've just seen, or to order supplies or accessories, visit STERIS.com or contact your STERIS account representative.